What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, and I want to talk about this picture. This picture that you're looking at right there. And it's so profound. It's like, if you can find a way not to unify with your brothers, what are you doing? You know, and you're the problem. You are the problem. Okay? And let me tell you what that means to me and how I think about it and why my page is the way it is, why I make videos, why I do what I do. Because I actually believe in the unification of black people, culturally, economically, socially, and historically. I actually believe it. That's my motive. My motive is for unification, right? I'm just a raindrop. That's all I am. I'm just a raindrop, but a raindrop, can turn into an ocean. It can become a tsunami. It could become a flood. Okay, so everybody, and I'm talking mainly to the Pan-African people. I'm talking to the people who claim on YouTube or on TV that they're Pan-Africanists or they're repatriates or they're Black Power or whatever. That their whole Pan-African genre, because there's many of them, right? You got your super Christians, you got your what they call the Hoteps, you got your Hebrew Israelites, you got your Muslims, you got your Nation of Islam type people, you got your atheists, you got your American people. What do you call it? You got your I'm a black person, but I've been here. We all been here in the whole country, the whole planet, whatever. You got your let's go back to Africa and leave America. You got the hey, this is America. We're gonna keep this place. You got your Caribbeans who they some of them don't care. They see the Caribbean as their motherland and not Africa, even though they're African and not really sweating it. I heard this before. You got your ones that you got you got all different spectrums, of blackness or what it is to be black and unify, and everybody got different ideas on what that looks like. Everybody has an idea of the way it's supposed to be, right? And we all know, for the most part, even though we don't agree on our origins all the time, we don't agree on the direction we're supposed to go, and we don't agree on how we're supposed to get there. We all know that there's a common goal, and there's unification, economically, socially, politically, and culturally, in history-wise, right? Unification. That's what it is. And what I'm noticing that you got the ones that say that's what they're all about. You know what I'm saying? They don't actually put it as priority, or it's not always priority. Now I know nobody's perfect. All right, so I'm not talking about perfection, nothing like that. What I'm saying is they don't really put it as priority. Sometimes it's secondary. And sometimes while they are on the so-called journey of theirs, and everybody's asking, what's the problem? Why is it that right now, why can't we just do it now? Why can't we all just, as black folks, wake up and just unify? Let's unify, start these businesses. Let's unify, create our own educational curriculum so we can start teaching ourselves our own history and our information, the true information that we know, from our PhDs, from our historians, from our scholars, from our Rhodes scholars, start educating ourselves, updating ourselves with our own information instead, because we already know that the information that we're getting is faulty. We already know the source of the information is faulty, right? And the source of the information comes from our oppressor. We know this. We all know this. And we know that, we feel oppressed. We know that we're fighting for equality, not superiority, but equality, but some are fighting for superiority. Just as sometimes when all being equal, the race is fair. And the person that wins, because they're more talented. It doesn't matter what, that's all I'm saying about that. But fighting for equality. But I'm noticing on the internet, there's a lot of people who, in that Pan-African movement, you know, spend their time or spend their, you know, they spend a lot of time bashing other black folks who are also going towards that same goal, but on a different path, right? You know, basically attacking them because their way is wrong. Their way is wrong, your way is right, right? And that's the same mistake that everybody makes. So because they're wrong, you believe that they're wrong and you're right, you can't work with them. You can't just agree to disagree on certain issues. Everything has to be 100% in agreements and 100% lined up with you and your beliefs and the things that you want to do in order for us to make that push for real unification. Then you fight that person. You fight that person. And you spend your finite resources. You know, you spend your finite energy, you know, because energy is not unlimited per individual, you know, in your life. You spend your energy fighting your brother and sisters over in-house disagreements, you know, or disagreements or you know, or ego trips or, you know, or prideful reasons, or because your feelings was hurt because they said something you ain't like. Okay. You spend a lot of time bashing and tearing down other groups because of that. Now, we do have bad people with bad intentions that are not real Pan-Africanists. They're just capitalizing on the movement for their own financial gain. Yes, there are people like that out there. Okay? There are people like that out there. And there gonna always be people like that out there. And why is it that as a group of people, we're not smart enough to realize that, and we deal with these things on individual basis instead of lambasting or just condemning a whole group or a whole section of another movement or a whole section of a different group based off what those individuals did inside the movement. And when we do that, we continue to divide ourselves, you know. But everybody still want to ask, why can't we just unify? Why can't? That's what's wrong with black folks. I'm tired of hearing people saying that's what's wrong with black folks. You're what's wrong with black folks. If you are the one doing that. That's why in my comment section, when people are rude to me, when they try to say something disrespectful, I will make a comment back at them. You know, I can be tough. I'm not gonna be a sucker, but I don't have to disrespect them and belittle them, you know, because that's what they want to do to me. I don't have to do that. I don't have to prove my toughness to anybody. I don't have to do that. If they're wrong, I'm gonna show them they're wrong using, you know, evidence. You know, using my words. I'm gonna use my brain, because, you know, that person who may have did that to you might appreciate the way you came at them, and they may become a fan. They may become a believer, a follower. They may, you know, look at another, you know, that guy, you know, I wasn't assholes, that guy, you know, but he wasn't all that bad, you know, he came at me, he wasn't rude, nothing. He's real professional, you know, I respect that. Let me listen to another one of his videos or another one of her videos, you know, and then maybe we can convince them that our way is better. Or maybe we can convince them that, hey, it's okay to be tolerant of our view and our way. Right? And sometimes we got to understand that people are going to make mistakes on the way up. And we can't keep condemning. We condemn whole groups. We can condemn individuals. Look at Ice Cube. Ice Cube. This man been fighting the power his whole life. And and a lot of people wasn't even intelligent enough to know that he was standing there and he said, I got a plan. I got a plan. They reached out to him. So are we supposed to not talk? If the Republicans, if they say, hey, we want to talk to you, even though we know what they do, we know their politics, you supposed to. They said, hey, we want to meet. He said, okay. When he asked the Democrats, they said, yeah, we'll talk to you after the election. He was like, okay. Why wouldn't you have a meeting with the enemy? Why wouldn't you have a meeting with the enemy? Are we playing checkers or are we playing chess? Are we playing chess or are we playing Go? When you meet up on the battlefield, there's a thing where the two generals or the two leaders of the two adjacent tribes, come to the middle and have a conversation to see if they can settle their differences before they kill their finite resources, which are their men and their women. They don't want to fight that war. It's not smart, but if they have to, they'll do it. But they'll come to the table and talk to each other. But some of you guys out there don't even want to do that. So you eliminate a bridge. You cut a bridge, a potential ally. Why? For what? Huh? Because you don't like the way they talk? Because they because you don't like what they believe? You know? You want to meet Rage right now? Let's say they are a piece of shit. Okay. You ain't got to be a piece of shit too. Just keep it moving. Right? But then the next person from that group, don't treat them that way because you had a bad experience with somebody. Like I keep hearing all the time. An African will come into America, have one bad experience with somebody because they culturally don't recognize each other. Things are different. Our English, we speak differently. We use our words differently. There's miscommunication there. And because of that, sometimes it causes problems. So you may have had a bad experience. Or you may have ran into an ignorant black person. Remember, over here in America, we've been conditioned like that. It's been 400 years. You should know that. You should know we were stripped of our history. You should know we don't know our last names. You should know that. So you can't come over here talking about, hey, them black African Americans don't know how to be Africans. Of course we don't. We're over here. We've been here for 400 years fighting. We know we black, but we lost that. They took it from us. You're supposed to know that. Supposed to have a certain understanding about that. Right? Now for my African Americans, yes, we've been fighting this whole time. We rugged, we tough, we strong. We like to talk tough. We don't beat around the bush, and we ain't too nice because we don't get afforded the opportunity to be too nice. We always on the battlefield. And when we see what's happening over there, and when we talking to Africans, despite no matter what country they're from, sometimes we can be too tough, or we can be too rude, or the way we say things and do things are very rude. It can be construed as rude in their culture, which is your culture, which you don't know because it was taken from you, but you know that. So since you know that, how about you temper down the way you are and try to learn something from them instead of believing the hype that you saw on the History Channel and the National Geographic of a bunch of Africans in mud huts. Everybody got AIDS. There's always flies on their face. They can't do nothing for themselves because the oppressors over there got their boot on their neck. They don't own nothing. They don't have nothing. I mean, that's what was put in our heads. That's what was put in our heads. They taught us that. They have programs on that, still on TV right now. Every time something bad happens in Africa, that's what the media, who owns that? Not us. That's what the media put on TV. That's what they teach us in school. So of course we're gonna be ignorant. When I was in Nigeria, do you know there were Nigerians who didn't even know that there were African Americans in America? They thought they didn't even know we came from there. They didn't even know what happened. They never even heard of transatlantic slave trade. Now let me ask you this. Who was the colonizer of Nigeria? What were Nigerians before they were the Federal Republic of Nigeria? They were British colony. Who made the curriculum? So they didn't want to teach you that. Why would they teach you what they did? Why would they teach you how they exported us over there? How we was a gross domestic product. How we was the Mercedes Benz and the Bugattis of the 1500s. How we was a status symbol. Just having us was a status symbol. You was the man if you had one. How we was the currency. You think they was going to teach you that in school? No, they shoved the Bible in your face. Read that. Turn the other cheek. Obey your master. They put you in their program. When y'all go to school, you learn it from their curriculum. You speak their language. They gave you that. But fortunately enough for you guys were able to keep your language. You guys were able to hold on to your culture because you're still on the motherland. You're in the main root. But everybody else, we on branches and we cut off. So y'all got to take control of your curriculum and do the same thing. Take control of your narrative. But then you got to understand, why is it that African Americans, despite all being, you know, despite the things that we do and we've accomplished, despite why y'all have certain people have a certain attitude towards African Americans. Why? You always got to ask yourself why. Why they act like that? Why we African Americans act like that? Y'all got to understand that. Y'all got to get smart enough to understand it and take and when we have interactions, understand that's why. That's the reason why. You can't solve a problem unless you find out why. Why is it the way it is? You go to the root of that problem, and that's how you solve it. You don't just sit there with scrap paper and just start doing your own thing. Or get mad and balling it up and throwing it away and walking away. Because you don't understand why. You just mad because you can't solve the problem. Get somebody to help you solve the problem. If you want to answer that problem and you need help, ask somebody. But you got to find out why. And then we change it. That's why when I have certain Africans in my comment section, they'll say some ignorant stuff. They don't know what they're talking about. They're completely ignorant to America. Or completely ignorant to my motives or how I am. Or completely ignorant to the African American intentions in Africa. For the most part, as a body of people. As a tribe, you would say. You know, I hear people, I see videos versus Nigerian versus American. Like a whole bunch of videos, a bunch of females talking trash about each other, you know, unnecessarily. But you the same people. You're literally the same people. 275 years removed for the most part, for most of y'all. All right? Literally the same people. Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, tribe. Yes. And then I hear the Americans, you guys, oh, them Africans, they sold us into slavery. Let me tell you something. Yes, they did. Yes, you did. Yes, your forefathers was the slave holders, was the slave catchers, and the slavees. Both of them. The Yoruba themselves used to fight the Doromaya. They would capture them and sell them into slavery. The Doromaya, you know, the Amazons, the ones we love on Black Planet. Woo, woo, woo. Go ahead and look them up and see how vicious they were when they were doing raids on villages, capturing them and sending them to the British. And a lot of us are over here because of that group that we love so much. The Igbos, right? The Igbos. Everybody look at the Igbos like, and I'll be honest, they look at the Igbos like the African, like people say Jews, right? The African Jews. Oh, they're you know, money hungry. They just money. They don't care about money materials. Well, if you knew anything, you'd know that it used to be merchants back in the day. And that's something they do. That's just like the people over in the Middle East. They were merchants. Merchants deal with money. They deal with shipping and trading and all that stuff. It's in their blood. That's what they do. Just like the Yorubas, farming is in their blood. That's what they do. Every group of people had like specialty. That was one of their specialties. And if you knew anything, you would know that the Yoruba the Igbos actually created one of the most peaceful kingdoms on the planet. That make Buddha look like nothing. They make the Buddhism look like nothing. The most peaceful place on the planet, renowned around the world. The Igbos created that kingdom. That place was so sacred that if a person had a slave and they traveled to the place, that person who was a slave was automatically free. Automatically. That's how sacred the place was. They didn't even have for the majority of the time of their existence, they didn't even have to fight wars. Everybody respected them. They would not. That was a holy place, the most holiest place on the planet. On the planet. So that's our holy place right there. That's our holy place, and that place is located in Egypt. I mean, sorry, well, not Egypt, Nigeria. Sorry, that place is located in Nigeria. Okay. And if you knew your history, we're supposed to know these things. We're supposed to know these things. But we don't, because we spend time fighting each other for stupid reasons. You know? And if you're one of those people who do that, you're the problem. You want to be the solution, but you're the problem. You know? You got people who you know, are culture. Let's talk about rap real quick. Let's talk about rap. I'm not even going to change this picture. This picture needs to stay up because it's that powerful. That is that powerful. We African Americans, we created rap, right? R&B, we're very influential. Everybody listens to us. Everybody trends with us. And then when we hear other African groups do it, we laugh. Some of us laugh. We say, "Oh, that sounds funny in that accent," Or we'll say, "Hey, they copying us or whatever." We get all funny and stuff. But did you forget where you got that 808 from? You forget where you got that drum from? Where you got that voice from? Did you forget where you got the moves from? Them dance moves from? Did you forget that? Because last time I checked, all that came from Africa. You forget where you got that shape that you love so much? That big, the bum in the back. You forgot where that came from? You think you're a branch and you just materialize? No, you came from the roots over there. So the Africans are not copying. They're not copying somebody else. They're doing themselves. They're copying them. Afrobeat. We love it though. But you got some people who got things to say. You got some Africans that say, "Hey, African Americans, I don't like y'all. Y'all appropriating because y'all wearing African clothes. Y'all doing it. Who the hell are you to tell us what we can't wear? We African. We have just as much right to wear those clothes as you do. We have just as much right to wear those clothes as you do. Those are our clothes. We earn those clothes. Because we survived this whole time and found our way back to some type of knowledge. The people that sacrificed us was our ancestors. So think about if your ancestors didn't sacrifice and go through what they went through, where would you be at? You wouldn't even be here. Your ancestors. And where did they come from? Right? So Africans, you can't tell anybody that they can't grab their culture. Because at the same time, you're saying we appropriating, but yet you say we don't know who we are. Which one is it? Are you finding a way for us not to unify? Because if you are, you're the problem. So when you look at this big glass of the African diaspora and you see all these cracks in it, know that each crack is each so-called Pan-African that's finding a reason not to unify. Or you got the ones that maybe they started off unifying, but then they notice they can make a bunch of money off YouTube and Facebook. All I gotta do is talk trash. That's why I said y'all make it secondary. Some of y'all make it secondary. Y'all still want the movement, but y'all make it secondary because y'all want those YouTube algorithms so you can get paid. Some of y'all even got Facebook pages and YouTube pages literally dedicated to finding somebody that considers himself Pan-African, and they're taking either a path you don't agree with or whatever your motivation is, and your video is all about trashing them. Finding somebody to trash. Find another black person to trash. You just trash. And that's what you do. Because YouTube like that. Because people like drama and chaos. So they watch that and you get paid. You're getting paid, but you know what you're doing? You're creating more cracks. You're creating division so you can get some money in your pocket. So, that's a scam move socially. Honestly, you just as bad as the actual scammers because you're scamming your people. That's why I don't care about monetizing. I don't care if I get paid. I don't care. I'm going to get paid another way. I'm going to do my own thing and try to get paid another way. But when it comes to this Pan-African music movement, I do it for free. Because that's my life. Because I believe in it. I believe in that it's a goal that we all must, if you, the ones that believe it, the ones that talk about it, that we all must actually walk the walk. No matter how, like I say, no matter how small it is, you may not make a huge impact. You don't have to. Everybody don't have to be Malcolm X. Everybody don't have to be Dr. Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. Everybody don't have to be them, but you can do something that will unify part of that crack. Even if it's real small, it's still necessary. You can do a small thing, and that small thing can turn into a big thing. You may inspire somebody else, and they say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And they do something big. You never know who you're talking to. You never know who's listening to you or what. You never know. There might be somebody with resources that's listening to you, and you may inspire them to do something, and they may take their resources and do something amazing. You can inspire the next Marcus Garvey. And you would never even know it. You know what I'm saying? So if we just try to find kindness, try to use our brains and really try to live up to the values of unification as a people. If you really believe in that, think about that belief and think about what you have to do to make it reality. We don't have time to fight with each other. The whole world is against us. We know this. We don't have the time. So if you are on YouTube or you're on any social media platform, or if you got a business and you doing something and you faking and you dragging people along, or you lying to people, or you wooing people who really in their minds, hearts and minds, thinking that you're a part of some Pan-African movement, or you're a part of some repatriation, or you're part of some African American unification, socially, economically, if you part of some sort of Islam, Christian group, or you part of any type of atheist group, you part of anything, if you're spending any type of time fighting amongst other groups that got same like-mindedness as you, and you're not talking to them, if you're not really trying to unify, and you're not spending that energy actually moving us forward or moving your group forward, then you're a problem. And you're the reason why we can't unify. So every time I come out your mouth, know that you're the reason. Look in the mirror. What did Michael Jackson say? He said it. He made a whole song about it. So, and people, so that's what we have to do, y'all. We gotta be humble. We gotta be humble with each other. Because when you're humble and you just take that a few minutes to just recognize the emotion that you're feeling when somebody affecting you, recognize it, internalize it, and then take an action, but not based off that emotion, but based off logic in your mind after you felt that, and see if you can, you can change the situation for something positive. I'm telling you, it'd be a good outcome. You'd be surprised how some people who are assholes will completely turn into the nicest person in the world once they receive something they probably ain't never received, which is, empathy. And a level of respect or understanding. It's amazing when somebody's understanding, they're listening to you, even though they have a different view. That's amazing, and it's contagious. So this Jones going about 30 minutes. I went pretty long, so I'm gonna wrap this up. That's all I wanted to say. If you like I said, if you're finding a reason, you're the problem. Just know that. All right, this is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.